What is up, everybody? This is week 20 of the Mario Maker Workshop. This is our weekly recap. We've gone another week in this crazy experiment to create a level design school and using Mario Maker 2 as our platform of choice. This is nearing the end of the entire experiment. This is week 20. I originally scoped out the project to be about 20 weeks, and here we are. I'm pretty tired, but Mario and what we've done in the workshop is as interesting as it has ever been. So I got Adrian on the mic today. We're going to go over a few of his questions, his levels, and some of the quizzes that I've been dropping into our Mario Maker Discord channel. This is just an impromptu stream. Don't worry about it being the final. This is just something I figured would be an interesting and good resource for everybody else who might be interested in these same topics. We are still talking about development. It is a complex topic, and Adrian has been reading up on the website. Adrian, say hi to the people.
Hey.
Cool.
So how do I set up the room so that I can show you the shelf I was working on?
You just go into courses. You go in the bottom left for network play. You go play with friends, and then you wait for me to join you.
Okay.
Where's my controller? Where's my controller? Here we go. Switching over now. Yeah, ninjas. Get out of my face. I could talk about speed running that course too. Play with friends. Host a room.
Yep. I got the room open.
So let me back up the discussion with a little bit of deliciousness. X-wing at deliciousness.
Why isn't it showing?
Are you my friend? There it is. Select your level by hitting Y.
Yeah.
And then give me a second to set this all up. So... He didn't give me a second!
Oh shoot, I didn't think it was that.
Yeah, okay, keep going. Should I play it or should you just show me stuff? I'll play it. Get out of my way, Adrian. Kill yourself. You hit start and give up.
Okay. Alright. So just one note. The first pipe is
notes.
Tony's.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead. I mean, you only get one chance to go in completely blind. So I'll do what I want.
Oh. It's okay. I do what I
want!
Okay, good. You went into the... Oh, wait.
This is old school. Interesting. No! Okay, now I'm gonna go here. Tony's pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh! Whoa! There probably should be some visual indicator of where those spots are.
Ah, so I'm actually really interested in seeing how you'll react to the last one then. Because I did try to address that as best I could.
Oh, I lost my power up. I'm good though. I'm not. Oh, interesting. like these things don't spit out stuff that often.
No.
Interesting.
After they fire the first one coming on, they take a while before they shoot another one.
I could have sworn that that guy was a horizontal, but that didn't make any sense. Oh! Also, you probably shouldn't have platforms scraping the top of the lava. It's just hard to see. That tiny little edge like that. That's probably another principle. You can go ahead and snag those points if you want.
Okay. Well, I got too much stuff running on
Okay.
the computer at the moment.
Shoot. Is Jeff in the chat? He can snag points. No, you better not, Jeff. I'll get you, Jeff. Okay, making sure everything's not burning down. What was I trying to do? Okay. Well, no shell. What are you supposed to do if you have no shell? That's an interesting question.
So...
You have to go back?
Yeah.
Not too bad. Shoot. Oh, not good. Interesting that Tony made this easier. Nice. Not bad at all. Oh, now it's down here. That's so cool. Ah, just kidding. Ah, just kidding. Okay. Third pipe?
Yeah. So this is where you see most of the changes that I made.
Check this out. Saving you for later.
Oh shoot! Oh, see, you hit the switch, so.
Oh, I should reset this?
I mean, not really. Well, okay.
Done. Neat. That's neat. These things only chase you? Check this out.
Yep.
I love it.
Tony spaced it out
No.
so that I didn't really have to make.
It's a tight squeeze right there. Yeah, using these as platforms, that's also an interesting situation there. Check this out. That's... And after they lose track of you, do they never gain track of you again?
That's right.
Oh no! Okay, I've experienced that one. Interesting.
So now that you've seen what I was doing in that third pipe, that's kind of where I want to like your feedback on the changes that I've made, because I tried to preserve as many of the ideas from the first two, while also meeting the conditions for, the part that I was assigned, which was specifically layers.
Layers! So, tell me what you think.
So, well, let's see inside. So for layers, I feel like I using the tracks and then the on-off switches, the red-blue blocks, that I was able to make it different. Both, so both the top and bottom layers are different, and then they're also different when you're going back by virtue of hitting the on-off switch. But even if you're coming back, the fact that if you kept the switch the same, the fact that the bullet bills are blocked off on one side means you have to deal with them coming from the... Oh, shoot. Okay, thank you. Shit, that's on stream.
Nope.
So, oh good. So, yeah, so now it's different when you have the... Even if the switch was still on, the bullet bill coming at you. The homing ones anyways. Did you notice the change that I made, or at least how I tried to address the bubble?
The what bubble?
The lava bubbles, the potoboos. It doesn't
I see
seem
that.
like
I see that hard block.
Right. Well.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. It's a pattern that you would need to like make its own level shit, or at least have more setups to really get the idea across. So do you see it now?
Yeah, I see the hard blocks that show where the lava bubbles are gonna come out.
Okay, that's pretty much it. That way, if you didn't see it the first time when they were on screen dropping, which is why this donut block setup is actually so good, because you get to see those first, but the ones as you move through the level that you don't, and now it's much more clear where they're coming from.
Yeah, the this first one, I thought that was just normal brick down there, just because you can't see the hard block. Again, that whole I'm not paying attention. Combing the top of the lava thing is a problem.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the issues with this, and just the camera, where if you put even one thing above screen, it'll start doing that halfway scrolling thing, so then you can't see the ground anymore. So I just tried what I did to work with the space that was there, because if I even raised it up one tile, then the ceiling in some cases would actually be too low. I know for thwomps, like a sort of, I don't know if this is really a principle, but I always want to make sure there's at least 4 tiles of space for the thwomp to drop, otherwise it's just too short.
Let me see. So I'm gonna go to principles. I'm gonna go one and say, do not place platformable. This is called what is this? Surface tension. Do not place platforms on the very top level surface of the lava. It's hard to see. Don't want to have the player standing halfway in. This is usually followed because in the final level of Super Mario Bros. 1, they put a horizontal lift platform in the lava where you could barely see the orange, and that was supposed to be like, ha ha ha, we're breaking our principles or bending them. This is basic layout kind of stuff. It's also visual design and clarity there, and get them points, baby. So back over here.
Okay.
Oops.
So another thing. Yeah, I can hear you. So another thing I tried to do was I tried to make it as friendly to fast-moving players as I could. So like that. So where the donut blocks are and where that thwomp is, you can actually just run and jump that.
What kind of layers did I assign for you?
The layers were folded.
Okay. So that's not necessarily tuning. You probably shouldn't necessarily tune for speed.
Right. See. Yeah, it's just something that I wanted for myself. I wanted to use the thwomps so that, you know, instead of having it like filled with them. So this is where I made one of the major changes from Tony, was instead of two thwomps, one for each layer, I just had one thwomp going through both. So, you know, using fewer enemies to do the same thing. And the challenge is different for both. So if you were on that top path there, the thwomp challenge is different than on the bottom one here because you got that fire bar, right? Same with, yeah, you found it. You can sneak under. And same thing here, where in the bottom path you're on the donut blocks where you have a thwomp, and on the top path you have the fire bar that can occasionally get in the way. And you know, it kind of, and then it softens up to here where it's just
that's unfortunate.
One fire bar, donut blocks, and then a thwomp there. And it's the same thing here. There's another neat thing with that last thwomp where there's just enough time to trigger him to go down, make a full run, and jump up through before he can slam down again. And I was also careful, and this is also one of the reasons why he eases up in this later half, is bullet bills, since they'll be shooting you as you to the right.
Get back here! Do they just stop homing after a while? I think they just stop homing.
I always thought it was once you are at an angle that they can track. It could also be timing based.
Or maybe if the angle brings them off the screen, they just like, eh. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show what the design thingy said.
And the
workbench project, Shellfire, a fire bar maze obstacle course in which the player has a dry shell Mario to start. This allows him to crumble and stay safe and learn the route. Folded level design has him abandon the shell and return. We have thwomps, homing bullet bills, and lava bubbles. Mostly used trying to accentuate dry shell abilities and techniques. That's why they took up 6 of the 20 points. Multiple fire bars for timing that are some on tracks. Maybe some will drop in.
So
yeah,
that was the one where I wanted to do something similar to where have one off screen, but the problem is in order to do that without the camera moving, I would need to put a ceiling there, and that would have just been like too little space. You would only have about 4 bricks to jump, and if you wanted to use thwomps up there, that just wouldn't have worked. That kind of violates my own made-up principle of at least space. Actually, wait.
We got kicked.
Actually, no, it didn't. It would just barely fit. So I wanted to at least have enough room so that you could, even on the top layer, you could still like jump over the thwomp. But the point is, like, it didn't really. I don't know. At least I don't think it really worked out too much.
You gonna create the room again?
Yeah. It's open right now.
Okay. And folded level design.
But that was one of the ideas that I had for it, which was to do that, to have a fire bar drop in onto a track, kind of like the way Kime did it. Obviously not as crazy as it was for his level, but you know, that was what I wanted to try out. So right now I only have 2 fire bars on tracks. I was thinking about maybe a third one, because if there's another thing that you'll notice is that with the exception of the Podoboos, there's at least 3 setups, or at least, never mind, I can't count. Hang on, let me get out of here. Right, so the reasoning behind the first fireball was that when you hit the on-off block, it then moves more towards the right, which is more in the way as you try to get. It comes closer to where the thwomp is, so when you're trying to move past the thwomp where you have to jump over that pit, the fire bar could like come at moves towards the direction you're trying to go against. And then for the second one, the one that's moving, the idea behind how I set that one up was that it goes more towards the ground, which makes it easier to jump over. Once you hit the on-off block, it moves more up. Oh shit! Yeah, you found it.
This is troublesome.
So. Yeah, that was actually something I was considering from Tony's setup, whereas that if you... Actually, no, that was one of the adjustments that I made when I figured things out. If you put the bullet bills and the top layer on top of red blocks, that when you turn it off, they then fall down into the lower... I really like that idea, and it's one I didn't keep in the one that I moved over. Instead, just opting to put a red block on one side and have it shoot at you on the right, and then when you come back, it can shoot at you both ways. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you check out on the development website? Anything that you think is relevant?
So, hang on, let me see. Another. Okay, yeah, there was a lot more here for me to read.
That was close. An interesting weakness of the dry shell Mario is that you can't duck and unduck quickly. So if you want to make a contrast between big Mario's or normal Mario's speed and dry shell Mario, you could be like, oh, you could have just like some projectiles coming and they can just go duck, run, duck, run, duck, run, and dry shell's like, no. No.
Yeah. This is also where, I guess, to meet the conditions of, keeping the 3 enemy types and then while still having layers, one of the things that I definitely like from just your first setup, which is almost like an idea good enough on its own, is just like having the fire bars on tracks that you can then hit and change how they move on the tracks and have other ones drop in. Like, I really am fond of that, but it's also complex enough that having too many other enemies would kind of like interfere with it. Because one of the things that I liked with the track setup that I put when I made my adjustments was that you could have... Because what I like with the way you did it is the fire bar, kind of like in the original Mario, is dangerous both on the top path and on the low path. When you put them on a track, though, you can make it do the same thing if you make it the track vertical, but without being as oppressive as like the 8 fireball long fire bar. Yeah, the max distance it can go is about 8 tiles. So you can achieve almost the same thing, but with the shorter fire bar, so it's not nearly as oppressive as the extra long ones are. But yeah, that's some of the thought process, which was seeing like how can I develop each of these elements.
Okay, let's take a peek at that website. I have 186 seconds.
Because that's actually where I do feel like why I wanted some feedback is because the development of a fire bar is kind of stunted, where I just have only 2 in the level. And it's more so on the top path than it is on the bottom, because I only just have that one vertical once you enter the pipe, and then the one horizontal one afterwards, but that's mostly for the top path, the lower path.
Okay, so we got
And
this,
that goes kind of where I was trying to preserve as much as what Tony was trying to do, where, you know, I wanted that little section to keep that section of the Podoboos, but while also making it a little bit more understandable where they're going to be coming from. That's why the thing with the Podoboos that's also cool is that they can also threaten both layers, but because of how fast they go and how they're a little different from the original Mario, I decided not to have them go all the way up, and that's kind of one bit of feedback that I was interested in hearing from you is, would it have been okay to have them actually go through both with the hard block adjustment that I made to sort of signpost them as best I could?
Oops. Interesting. Okay. Just taking a peek at this website real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Miyamoto quote, yes, I do think it's really important to decide on a core concept in level design. And I think he meant that like towards the beginning of a course development. Most of our gameplay ideas can result in dozens of different levels. An idea itself is flexible and abstract, typically. It's possible to make the idea the main focus of the level or to make it more subtle. You can put it in a secret area. The idea can be implemented in an over-the-top fashion or more smoothly incorporated into standard Mario level design practices. This is something that Mr. Miyamoto talks about. He drew comics as a kid, and so he would always talk about how you have to think about what is the denouement going to be? What is that third step, that 10 twist that really surprises people? That's something that has always been very close to our philosophy of level design, is trying to think of that surprise. Another common type of development. I go over a few different common types, but they also comment on why it's important to the Kisho Tenketsu style is pretty effective, and he says it has to do a lot with the acquisition of skill. That's sort of why we do, why we try to do, that is what we try to do with the way people relate to gameplay concepts in a single level. That's interesting that he links the communication of an idea to the acquisition of skill and how people relate to the concept in the first place when playing a level. And a lot of people just think that their ideas, just shoving it in text or in some kind of visual element, is going to do the trick. You're like, no, it's always been a delicate balance between teaching, learning, and further developed examples. It always has been like this. People just have no idea what the heck's going on. We provide that concept, let them develop their skill, and then the third step is something of a doozy that throws them for a loop and makes them think of using it in a way they haven't before. And this is something that ends up giving the player a kind of narrative structure that they can relate to within a single level about how they're using a game mechanic. And this quote is so freaking rich with goodness. All the stuff we talked about in this series and in the school and on Design Oriented, how skill is linked to the way people understand, how gameplay is the core, and interactivity is the core part of video games that has the most artistic merit and structure, how stories and narratives are a tool that we use to learn, and how that's how we relate to things by putting things in causal and sequential orders, and how that helps us with the abstractness that is interactivity and gameplay in the first place. Like, this is it. When you're making a level, your idea directs all the decisions you make, and you may not think that's important, but to other people, some decisions may seem arbitrary, but as long as you have a lot of internal consistency and a clear vision, it is most likely that your design snapshot and design fingerprint will show through, and that'll be the result of all the things that you've studied, all the things you learned and exposed yourself to, and that's why more experienced designers produce better work than less experienced. your idea is key to decode your design. So somebody really can't guess why you do the things you do. Can't really guess because there's a missing piece of the equation, right? So I was saying before, I think cryptography can teach us something a little bit about this in a way. If you have no common ground to learn a new language and you don't interact with someone who can speak the language, they say you can't figure out any of the words in that language because all their words are just pointing to things and concepts. And if you can't even get a basis on how the grammar works or what words are nouns and all this stuff and verbs, then you can't start to crack that nut, right? You have to have them say something simple, point to something, and build it up from there. In a similar way, your gameplay idea is what you're using to guide your decisions, but other people won't be able to see that cipher, that key. So that's why a lot of times people can play a level and see it, but not be able to extract principles or the idea from it because, you know, that's why art is hard in the first place, but that's also why it's interesting. And then you need experience to design better games. We talked about one-off ideas, standard development, which is just increasing more Goombas kind of a thing. Tutorializing areas to teach people stuff. Exploring parts of a more complex idea and pieces. Theme and variation, which is cool. And a twist, a variation of a theme that breaks a trend, create a bigger contrast between the player's expectations. Yeah. So this course isn't going to have theme and variation. It's not really going to... The core concept is sort of an obstacle course, which is pretty abstract anyway. So the whole twist is where you go and you fold and you come back. So this is really just focusing on this. And in a way, practice than performance because it's easier with the shell, but then you abandon it. So those are the two different types of development. We're not doing standard, and these ideas are not necessarily one-offs because there's just one main idea. So the interesting thing about folded level design, the hard part is, it's really hard. It's like multiple types of making multiple levels in one elegant little package. One of the original ideas was abandoning the shell to get up to the top, so that it would be small Mario on top getting a shell coming back, or shell Mario on bottom losing the shell to return back. Whether or not that's super important, but that was sort of the crazy fold. I trapped that one. No!
Yeah, that is true. Some of those ideas were lost, the adjustments that I made.
Yeah, another hard thing about folded level design is changing as little as possible when you go back through a level. So like on-off blocks are kind of cheating. They're so effective at doing that, but then it's just like you change the level kind of a thing. Yeah. Trying to make it more organic is always the tough part. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
Creating an obstacle course.
Oh.
It's so dangerous. Yeah, a lot of times creating an obstacle course that's a little more strict will allow players to be like, here's where I need to do something specific to get through. Which is kind of hard to do when both passages are essentially designed to be traveled in as small Mario or shell Mario. So it's just an interesting project overall. Like, you don't need to use the shell power-up, and I don't think it gains you any particular kind of advantage going through on this bottom level. So that's kind of Like, you can look at some of the levels we did for the power-up bingo, and who did the shell one?
I don't recall.
Paper Spock and TFJ. But yeah, like had some setups with conveyor belts, and you could travel underneath if you were shell form and kind of crush yourself to get through a tight spot and different things like that. Kind of interesting.
Oh, and Inflatable Thor commented in the chat that if he was modifying this level, take out the Podoboos and focus on homing bills and fire bars on off tracks.
Yeah, if I were to do something with the Podoboos, I'd put them all in one tiny, tight little section. They're kind of random though, so really, they're not such a good enemy anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how I feel with Podoboos.
So you can determine how high they go, right? The Podoboos, the lava bubbles.
Well, with the hard blocks the way I put them, yes.
But can you make one leap out of the lava in a small distance rather than a big distance?
You can. The lower part, it would basically show you that I'm coming here, but now you don't know how high.
Yeah.
So there is that. That's why I was asking earlier about the way how I made the hard blocks, how it went through 2 layers, if it was okay if it would actually keep going past that so that it could threaten both layers kind of the same way the thwomps do. Because that's one where it's like, I don't know, the Podoboos are a little bit more annoying because of the way they are. And that's why I was like playing it a bit more safe with this, where it's just like, you know where they're going to stop.
Yeah, scrapping the Podoboo seems pretty important. How do I do this?
Are you trying to jump over?
Trying to.
You can.
I'm trying to get underneath that lip and land on the platform underneath. Underneath the door.
Oh, because there is actually another level past that.
What are you doing?
Oh, what? It doesn't scroll. Wow. Okay.
That's weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
Maybe
it just makes it invisible.
Maybe this is the version you saved, but not the version you currently have in your editor.
Yeah. So if you oh no, see, if you get the key, go through that door where you see the end is, you can go back through it and see the level that's supposed to be past that.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you can make that jump.
Wait, yeah. Actually, another thing was I like the idea of using. Wait, I already said this. Using fewer thwomps, that's why they go through both layers, whereas Tony had them on top and bottom. Oh! Close. Yeah. I usually know it's a good sign when I'm having fun playing with my own. Although sometimes, in the case of Piranha Cheap Jungle, it was not good enough because I like crazy, stupid stuff.
Yeah, having the thwomp on the top level is a little tricky. Could you see the separator, and then you're like, cool, I'm in the lower area, and then it just kind of like flies down, and you'd have to look really high up on the screen in order to...
Yeah, I was actually thinking that too, because as I was playing, if there's one thing that I had to be more aware of, it was as you're looking ahead, also having to look high up. So that might be another principle of just like, I don't know how to put this. Basically, just being more aware of like where the player is going to be looking, and by virtue of that, what they're not going to be looking at, which can screw them over if they didn't see it. You know, that peripheral vision. Yeah.
No.
And, you know, you go through the door and you can see what was supposed to be behind. Well, it's nothing.
Ah! That lava was gonna kill me. Was it?
All right. I think it actually. Yeah, I think it was going to kill you.
Oh well.
That's okay. It's just one of the sample levels that you see in the start screen. Just nothing special.
Yeah, maybe giving you guys all those layers. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have made it just a straight up tunnel.
So your recommendations from here would be
Getting rid of the potoboos.
get rid of the potoboos.
So like, what part of your level do you think accentuated the unique abilities of Dry Shell Mario? Yeah.
Definitely being able to like use the as like an elevator and just jump right on top of them. The dry shell is also protected from below from the potoboos, so unless you jump into a potoboo or hit them from the side, the potoboo is much less threatening. The little underpassage area we right across the lava. So in that one instance, with the bullet bill, where the donut blocks are as you're coming back, which you saw just a moment ago, you can go into sort of a blind spot that the homing bill has a hard time hitting you. And then the other was one of Tony's setups where you can like jump between them, play dead, and that's also where the fire bar on top comes into play, where you can sneak under it, but you can also play dead, and the fire bar harmlessly go through you. So those are the elements where the dry shell is accentuated. The double jump is the one, like, it's still there, you can still use it, but it's not as much since it's now easier to get into the top path because of the thwomp acting like an elevator. Oh, the one that you didn't do was when you go on the path and you come back down because of the way that one vertical track with firebar, one of the things is you can jump and sort of like ground pound play dead to just go clean through it. That's a funny one.
Do the jump into my room.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that level, I mean, that one was supposed to be a level 5 scope, and as I was trying to get you guys a basic layout real quick to work on, I was like, well, I want to see this happen because this is neat. So I turned into a 20 scope with a folded level design and power-ups. So yeah, and having that kind of a scope inside of such a small space, I think made it hard for you guys in some instances.
Yeah, that's actually one of the other questions that I had, because I did try to keep that within it was 3 screens long.
Yeah.
And I just tried to keep everything within that 3 screens.
Yeah, you are basically the finisher, even though you still need to let Bleach play it online to give you feedback. So you could expand that. The last person can have a lot more liberties.
Okay, because if I can stretch it out, I can put those properties that you wanted, like being able, like making it so that the only way to get to the top path is by, double jumping, instead of just like taking a thwomp up.
Have you seen that really hard level where it's a recreation of 1-1 with like a billion fire bars?
No.
Well, keep playing, and then I'll pull it up.
Is there lag? It just feels weird.
Yeah, so this level, so this is a level that's layered, but it's not folded. I think in a lot of ways, you can see that a lot of these structures are more classic.
Oh, what? Shit.
Classic Mario. You can go ahead and start from the beginning. Start from scratch. If you die, Adrian, hit pause. Hit pause and start over when you die, because co-op doesn't reset everything.
So if I hit... This is hard mode. Where's the Koopa?
I don't know.
Oh my god. It's still on hard, so I can keep going, right? Yeah, it should be fine. There he is! What happened to you?
I don't know.
Oh.
You should now play it on. You should reset and play it on easy first.
Oh, okay. Wow, this feels different. Yeah, see the Goombrats aren't there, which means they're probably dropped off. Yeah, see the camera's doing that. Yeah, there they are. Oh, this was a multi-coin.
You can start over now.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't show him dying, it just goes back to start. I find that hilarious. Oh, you haven't played on-off hard mode, Jeff? It's really neat. You need a spot where you can ride the Thwomp all the way through the big fire bar. Yeah, that's another cool idea. One principle may be that fire potaboos should never go through the floor. Yeah, I think all the time before they were like holes in the lava or over pits so that it would slow you down approaching those areas anyway. That's a good point, Jeff.
Yeah, that is. So...
Put it in, Jeff.
Oh look, I actually saw them drop from the ceiling.
Here he comes.
YOLO! The fire flower died. Hey! There's a pipe dispenser up there.
What the? Oh, that's because of co-op. It would only drop once normally. Keep going. Alright, yeah, keep going.
Can't go through that pipe. Oh, you spinies!
Spike tops.
Can't kill. Or spike tops. Can't go on this one either. I see you down there. That's safe. So, for doing this, I either have to make the tight jump, which I feel like this is a one you can make. Yes! Oh, wait. Hang on. Okay. What am I trying to do here? I want to blow up the coin. Time it so I... Like that. That means I should get it. Yes. Give me my money. So now I have to... If I'm... Like that. Yeah! Gimme. And if I can see this last one, I need that POW block. Ah! Oh. Oof. It's like I need to be a little more like this. Shit! I didn't want you. Oh wow! So it's hitting the wall before. So I need to be.
Come on, Adrian, get it! Come on, Adrian!
Yeah!
Get the coin, get out! You have... Go! Go,
Give
go,
me
go,
the
go, go,
coin.
go, go! Go! You gotta go! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fucking A on the 0 second!
Oh, jeez. Huh. Clip that, somebody. Jeez.
Clip that.
It's on straight. Man, you figured every part out. And, oh, man. So you can get it if you are really close to the bumper, but it's really pixel perfect. And then everyone's like, but you gotta. And then they fall off the thing and they're like, wait a minute. And then like jump and throw it. And it's like, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Yeah. You can also float the bob-ombs in midair by rapidly hitting the fire bar, so you're like, woo, across the way. 0 seconds left because of co-op.
Co-op saved me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, might as well get run busters too.
Okay, let me. So yeah, that was. We'll go back and do. I'll show you one more thing for this one. You give up and we'll see if I can pull it off.
Okay.
I told you, Jeff, to stop and play it immediately. Yeah, there's no going back now. Jeff, there's no going back. Oh, I should have put the link to the stream. Jeff, if you can drop a link to the stream in the Mario Workshop channel, that'd be great. Okay, so kill yourself, dude. Okay. Miss.
Excuse me. I guess because of the way I've been going through that every time, I never realized that pipe had a piranha plant in it.
Yeah. Okay, so this part is supposed to be fun. Well, hold on. So this is... Ah, I missed the jump because of lag, but if you go at max speed and you're on hard mode and you believe... Oh! I hesitated slightly and got bit. Yep, that's a hesitation. Get bit. That's super cool. So the other way in. This is how it's supposed to look for you with the two Koopas. Oh, I ruined it. What's happening? I died. Don't worry, I got a spare. Cool. So if you don't get the key, you can come over here, kill these Koopa. Oop, hit that the wrong way. Oh well.
Yeah, and you used it to blow up the hard blocks.
Yeah, you can either do the rapid fireball and walk with it by floating it using your pyrokinesis, or you can kick them over this gap and then like blow a hole in the wall. So yeah. Fire Mario not necessary, but makes some things easier. Cool. So let's do the next one. Which one? Run Busters? You haven't played Run Busters?
Yeah, I played, but I didn't finish it.
Shoot, I hit the A button. Okay.
I also don't think I did it on stream. I did it on my screen share, not the DL one.
Let's give up on this one. Yeah, the development for this one was an interesting process. Give up. I got to when I had my hands on the level and I was supposed to add a secret, like I guess a nuanced secret or whatever. I looked at the level and all the parts had interesting ideas, but they weren't clear ideas enough, which I think is a similar problem with your level. So let me just load up. I can load up Rogue Ghost if you want to try that one.
Yeah, that works too.
Okay, because otherwise we'd have to download another level and go out. So try this. And keep in mind you might need to pause and restart if you die.
Okay.
Hopefully that doesn't completely just ruin the stage. Yeah, so like, I'm going to show the stream. I'm going to be working on showing the stream some things, but keep playing this. Okay. Oh! Yeah. It's good.
First pipe, here we go. Oh, it's the circle boos. Big boo over there, and there's a key. And oh, there's some boos off screen. You can't spin stomp these, can you? I don't think you can. So let's see. Can I jump up there? I don't think I go high enough. Okay.
Watch out, my friend!
Whoops. I wanted to jump in the little... I don't think I... Yeah, I don't need that.
You're the only one who does the ghost pumping preemptively. Run, slide, you can do it. Oh no! Ah! You have to go!
Fuck! It's alright. They're all on one side now. Ooh, winged boo.
He says, what's up? Yeah, so this one is a Akamorak style layout, which is rooms and an initial nonlinear pipe entrance to these rooms. So each room has a separate idea, which is that type of development that we talked about before, where it's like these ideas don't connect to each other at all. There's no development. The only thing they have in common is they have keys and boos.
So, based on the layout of those coins, I'm thinking there was a P-switch somewhere. Because if I'm counting it and it's 7 tiles high, I can't jump that high even running.
Here they come.
I'm gonna try something. Oh, wait. Right, that's right, I'm big, so... Oh, okay. I can't. I forgot that I'm 2 tiles.
Yeah, coins in keys have a slightly exaggerated hitbox.
So let's see this. If
You probably should have. Nice. Get out of there.
yeah, so I would jump, turn around to lure him away from the thing, the doohickey. I think I need more. Yeah, I need more. So what I'm trying to P-switch to get rid of all those, so...
You always greedily grab what you don't need.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Two keys. So this one has the, these are called stretches. Why the hell they have a name like that, I don't know.
The original Bros 3
Oops.
stretches were on a white platform that looked like them. So they pretty much were stretched across the entire platform. Now they're runners almost.
Yeah, they're basically, spinies that, that don't go vertically. Hey, that's cool. They travel like 5 blocks or something. Oh shit, I couldn't crouch slide in time.
Luigi's face.
Oh, wait, I got an idea. Come here. There you go. Stop. Damn. down and up. I got 2.
I mean,
Is that all I need?
the key you grab Zonk.
I already got
means
that
you
one.
have the maximum amount of keys you could ever need.
Oh, running out of time! And I'm willing to bet that if I kept the flower, that I could have... Oopsies.
Nice job.
Woo!
Yeah, there's all kinds of layers and secrets and non-linear funness in that one.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, if I had kept the cape, I could have there and accessed that area.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Inflatable Thor says, should I join playtech?
Should he join the what? This?
Yeah, the co-op.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Have fun, I guess. If you have, yeah, you have my friend code, hopefully, right, Thor? There you go. So, what do you want to play? What should we play? You gonna try to wreck that level with co-op? You gonna try to co-op and get to all the secrets? But so on the stream, I'm gonna just say a few things. Check out the stream real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So what I originally had in mind for Shellfire was this, where the fire bars are kind of super dangerous and everywhere, and because you have the shell, you can calmly like defend and navigate through it instead of being so endangered, right? So there was like, oh, it's supposed to be like a true obstacle course of bars.
Holy shit!
So I added
That's nuts.
I added a few other enemies, but the idea was this thing was supposed to be pretty dangerous. I'm gonna give up, and you two can play this crazy stage. So yeah, so what you currently have with Shellfire is more like a couple of pieces from normal-ish stage setups, but nothing that makes you think I'm so glad that I have the shell. That's a matter of strictness and, you know, communicating ideas. Sweet.
Wow, that's interesting. The winged boo is
Oh, it's going after freaking Jeff.
Jeff off screen.
Whoa!
That's kind of messing with what I'm trying to do here because he's a bit more unpredictable now. Knowledge.
This is freaking Moboshi's arcade right here.
Fuck.
Right? I was like, why did you do that?
I was hoping he would move.
One can always hope. Move out of the way from the reach. Multiplayer wrecks everything, but it's so interesting.
Especially when it's like non-shared screen.
You kind of helped Jeff out. Pretty nice, Yakuba. It's funny you're jumping over the gaps when you totally don't need to.
Mm-hmm. One of them had the feather. I need to find that one again.
Woo! You just decide to jump over the danger. That's crazy. Instead of just falling through the hole. You guys are nuts. Oh, nice job, Jeff. And Adrian helped by staying still. Nice job, team.
Shit.
This is like Four Swords stuff where you're like, hey, can you do this off screen for me?
Oh no, okay. It's about to lag. Over and then under.
Nice crouch jump, Jeff. Oh, both of you have capes
Yeah.
now. Can you? Oh, no, not anymore.
I got mine.
See what you can do with this power.
We can also, like, head bonk.
Oh yeah, you could also co-op head bunk up there. Yeah, consider that. Oops.
This bastard's in my way.
The only way that the ghosts reset is if both people go into the subworld, so that, you know, everything in the prior world can fully reset.
Oops. Messed it up.
This is
Alright, let's
neat.
head bonk. I can fly up there. 3, 6. Yeah, I should have enough space here. Fuck. Sorry. Whoa! I didn't know that.
Jeff's
Oh
got
snap,
the goods.
you got it!
Jeff's got the goods. That's so cool seeing it in co-op like that, with seeing Mario down there suffering. Let's follow Jeff. Mario's coming along, Jeff. Help him out, Mario. Cut some paths. Work together! I think as long as one Mario is facing away, do they have the power to move, or is it the other way around?
Okay, we're both on one. Wait.
Oh, Jeff's trying to do a by super advanced technique.
Yeah. Oh.
Woo-hoo! You better cut some paths and get out of there, Adrian. Go to the right. Go to the right.
Why is it moving towards me?
Because
I was looking
that's
right
what
at
I
him.
was asking. Is at least one player has their back turned. I think they can move,
Okay.
which makes them more dangerous in co-op.
Alright. Well, we can just go through now.
That's just in the level, though. Oh.
But wait.
Just about to ruin it. Why'd you guys not want to get
Start
those
over?
goods?
Okay.
Interesting. Oh, now that you're doing this little, which is how I originally designed it. Jeez.
Run! Run!
You have to help him! Yeah, you have to help him! You have to help him!
I tried.
That moment of panic. Like, that was a lot crazier.
I got the
than I
wing
thought.
boo out of the way, but the
Yeah.
small boos were too close. Okay. Oh, that's gonna make it tricky. Oh shit! I didn't know that one.
Welcome. Oh, why, Thor? Why? Why? Watch out, Adrian!
Oh
He
shit!
unleashed the flying stretch. It can go on any platform now.
All right. Well, you got the key, so.
You guys are trying to figure out how to get into the mysterious pipe you didn't want to get into. Oh, cool. Jeff's got a cape. Co-op is cool.
Go.
Play it safe, Jeff. You got 71 counts. Get out of there, you two. Or you could have gotten a cape too, Adrian. It was, the question block was right there. Jeff, keep moving. You don't have
Oh.
enough time.
Hang on. Let me. Oh
Jeff,
shit!
keep moving. Mario, go back and get a feather. Wait,
Wait,
the
I
pipe
can
you just
walk
got
up
out
there.
of. The pipe you just got out of.
All right.
Jeff, you can do it. It's right there on the left. You guys have to get to that next room. That was the one you needed the cape for. Just go through the doors. You have 40 seconds. You've already been in that pipe. Move on. Okay, get into the pipe you haven't been into.
Head bonk. There we go.
Watch out, Jeff. You better do it. You have 12 counts. Get out of there. Get out of there. You have 12 counts. Go. You have 12 counts. Go. Head bonk now. No!
Get up there.
But yeah. That was the last secret. Nice playing, Jeff.
Okay.
So let me zip back over to the stream real quick and show that development-wise, this is what happened to the previous level we played, on-off hard switch. The original layout looks something like this, right? Mushrooms in a cage, on-off switch, basic brick layout there stayed about the same. This setup stayed the same. And then it went over to there. This is there as starter. So like no enemies, nothing. He was just doing the basic layout. And then Marcus grabbed it and added enemies and a few other elements. As you can see here, Marcus added enemies in cages at the top, 2 Goomba to rain down, which I 2 Goomba to rain down, 2 Munchers to rain down and make the stairs harder, a Fire Flower to rain down, but this Fire Flower lands on the platform, so only in hard mode, and then a bunch of Goombas with the key hidden in the middle, and then the 2 Bob-Ombs. You're like, okay. So when I got to it, I basically said, these Bob-Ombs cluster this right side, so I'm going to move over to the left, and that makes that whole challenge a little more complicated. I added multi-coin blocks to these 2 middle question blocks, which is most dangerous in the hole. I changed this Goomba formation because all the Goombas would do is rain down and then walk off the cliff and kill themselves. It wasn't that interesting. It was cool to try to kill them all before they killed themselves to get the key, but I was like, you know what? It doesn't feel like a harder challenge if you just wait a few seconds and they all go away. So I changed it to 2 red Koopa that don't fall off the platform, made dips out of this section, and changed the key bearer to a spine top, and this whole area changed and became a lot more concentrated and clear. I added these turned into Goombrats, so they stay on the platforms instead of just being normal Goombas. And I added the whole, like, on hard mode, you need this Koopa to get to the high things. On easy mode, I made these 2 blocks red so that you can just jump off them. And that changed everything, right? So now each section was both its own thing on easy and its own unique thing on hard. You have to be speedy now because I changed this Fire Flower 1 over so it falls in the pit. You have to be speedy to get it. And this hidden door, instead of just taking you randomly to the end, I put it inside the bonus room, created the bonus room, and that kind of rounded out the whole level. But each one of these things is a separate sort of section on the screen, a separate, very clear gameplay idea and challenge. And that's the kind of level of tuning and cleanup that would be great for Shellfire. Because right now there's a lot of things that are close to each other. They're not quite communicating their individual sections worth of an idea. And oftentimes you can skip things or not understand the idea before you just kind of move forward. And hard mode, on-off hard switch, is designed to slow you down when necessary and to reveal safely when it can. So that's the development history of on-off hard switch.
Okay. But I do have the go-ahead to use more screen space instead of trying to fit everything within the initial 3 screens.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, with that I can make, more clear setups as you showed there.
Sorry, was I muted that whole time?
That whole time.
You were.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
The only level I have left for Adrian to keep noodling around in is Run Busters. Otherwise, if you have a level, Jeff, or whatever, we've gone over several.
Oh, Run Bust. I did that one already.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you wanted to play another level or what.
I just wanted to play anything that you were going to show off that I hadn't tried yet.
Yeah, so that's basically it for the stuff
I wouldn't get it spoiled first.
Right. Well, it actually, the idea you had for putting a horizontal, then have it go through a firebar, that was actually a pretty good one.
Yeah. So right now, well, I can't show that off easily. Yeah, so I'll close out this room and go over the Kisho Kintetsu examples. You guys are welcome to do whatever.
Okay.
So this is just polishing up the whole conversation about development. Kisho Tenketsu is the 4-part development style created by the Chinese when creating 4-panel comic strips, and adopted by the Koreans and Japanese, and popularized in terms of level design by Miyamoto and Koizuma of Mario fame. And here is the exercise that I threw to our Discord group. I found in Super Mario 3D Land. Oh, let me show you. Boop. Yeah. Boop. Boop. Kisho Kintetsu. This looks similar to the narrative arc. You know, introduction, rising action, denouement, conclusion, something like that. Falling action. The biggest section is either development, which is show, or tin, which is a twist. The conclusion is short and sweet. The introduction does what it needs to do to get the basics introduced, and this is a level design map that we're going to try to identify in these upcoming Mario courses. So where am I? Who am I? Let's go to the first one. This is a level. I said Kisho Tenketsu doesn't get much cleaner than this one. Challenge of the morning. Label the parts of Kisho Tenketsu. Right here. What are you doing? Why aren't you appearing in the right window?
Oh, Richard, one last question. How important is it for both paths for Shellfire to be visible?
Not. Well,
not.
Just not. You can just put those in two completely different. So it was supposed to. At first, I thought it was cool to drop up and go down, but I think the upper path probably needs to be more organically integrated into the one forward channel, right? Or abandon it altogether.
Okay. Because, one of the things that I was thinking was like ways to manage the camera, basically, and allowing it to scroll upwards. So that's why I was wondering how important was that. Because, for example, in Tony's initial draft of the level, the thwomps were placed high enough that the camera would scroll up, but you would at least be able to... So you wouldn't see the thwomp up there if you were on the bottom. So, that's an example of what I mean.
So here's Super Mario 3D Land. And here's the music. It's 4-5. And it looks a little something like this. So this is clearly the introduction. It's really hard to mess up the introduction. This level is going to be about these green flippy things with enemies. Okay. So here's probably where the development starts. Multiple green flippy things. This is more or less a linear developed idea from the introduction. And more enemies and more flippy things. But this time the two are separated, so you kind of have to coordinate or make a choice. A little bit more sophisticated, but still along the lines of the same idea. You can call that development. The show part of development, key show. Halfway point, so we're halfway through the level, and now we have much wider gaps, still enemies. Moving platforms makes things a little more complicated, and these hazards in the way make things a little more complicated. But in my mind, they're still just about as complicated as it was with the boomerang brother, and the flying enemies that are homing you anyway. So now we have something really complicated, and this is what I consider to be the twist. It's a combination of like the independent ones, the lined up ones, the ones that climb up and make 3D structures, and an enemy, right? Timing these out, right? Making choices, figuring out where they go and which ones you need to hit. This is the twist, because there's many more choices than normal in that section. And then you get to the end of the course, which is usually your conclusion. Kind of revisits the idea, but in a much simpler way. Just to remind you, like, yep, calm down, we're at the end of the level. So let me just Discord this up. Discord, where's the web portal? Open Discord. Get out of my way. Mario Workshop, so you guys can see it. And scrolling up. 3D Land, first example, that's round 2. And first example here. So, Jeff said the twist is the smiley panels that build underneath some hazards. So he thought the twist was one more before the one I identified. I don't think there's anything that says you can't have more than one twist, right? More than one gameplay challenge that represents the twist. The conclusion flagpole challenge that features a new small gameplay idea of wall jumping. The player can figure out what to do, or they can skip it. Intro, first switch builds safely all the way to the next switch, so you don't even have to jump. The second one adds a B to the mix, so that's when the enemies start getting mixed in. The panels are shown building upwards, downwards, and straight forward, parallel to the ground. So yeah, he called this the intro. It's interesting. Where's his development? Hitting multiple switches at once. This is pretty good. Tony said key is button panels introduced large enough fallback to if you're afraid, simple jumps. More complex structures is how it develops with buttons required to set it up. Now the panels are mixed with moving platforms, spike hazards, bricks. You have to move quickly. And if Jess says the suits, the power-ups make it easier. The twist, the conclusion is one very large panel structure to be created. Player is afforded some clocks for more time. So it's interesting. The conclusion, according to that little graph we looked at, it's got to be less complex and less sophisticated than the twist. So the twist isn't the conclusion is never the climax. The conclusion always has to be less substantial than the twist. That's the whole Kisho Kintetsu formula. Just something to keep in mind. Flipping green platforms, enemies and green platforms are the development. Twist is, so he identified the twist as being the thing. Yeah, so again, just keep in mind, everyone, that the twist or the conclusion probably must be much simpler. 3D vertical is how it develops, yes. Unfolding flips stretch horizontally into hazards, and the Ketsu is a return of the vertical.
I think something that some of us may have missed, and myself included, is that the larger area with the, like, where it splits off and you can go get the other coin.
Yeah.
And it's a hammer bro. There was actually a puzzle there that the walkthrough just immediately did, so
Yeah.
it just seemed like a linear thing that they could do real easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the walkthrough definitely.
But that I do, yeah, that it does make sense how you put it. That could be a twist where before it was all linear, and now you have to press stuff in the right order. Or,
yeah, and figure out which ones you need to press. Yeah.
Because if you do those from right to left and then go back, you then have less time to get through the whole mountain that you have to climb there.
Yep.
Or do like only a couple and then press the rest.
Yep. So Very good points. Round 2. Everyone got extra credit for submitting stuff in the thread, by the way, so it's very good participation. Another stage, 5-5. Oh, this game's so good. Sorry. So jumping on clouds, vertical platforming. Watch your landings because the clouds are moving, but they're moving vertically, so you're like, okay. Getting used to space. More vertical enemies here. Now the enemies are vertical. Okay. Big bounce. Ooh, huge bounce. You're like, man, these things can bounce high. Big enemy. Wall kicking and all the other rules still apply. Very neat, very neat. Heck, I almost got kicked in the face. Now the clouds are moving horizontally. And they even give you a little ... which is something a lot of platformers don't understand is important.
Knowing where a moving platform's going to go.
Yeah, especially when they have a lot more variation in other levels, you just want to know what you can do. It informs you, not does the challenge for you. So, all right, so we're heading up. This is the halfway point. The halfway point probably should never be a twist. That kind of gives you a hint. So now we're going up. The platforms are the same material that the other big jumper was made out of, so now you know you can jump pretty high. The coins are trying to remind you of that. Battle room. Goombas are pretty harmless. You can skip them, but there were a few things you could do optionally, and here's the final part of the level. I love this part. Oh, it was so fun. There's a P-switch there, non-linear way to descend, coins, and no enemies, right? So you're like, oh wow. Until you get to the very last part, there's no enemies. Different types of platforms. You're like, this is it. This is everything. With the 3D effect, this is so cool. You're in complete control. And this guy is recording, so he doesn't have the 3D effect on. So let's see what everybody had to say. Round 2, fight. Key is using the propeller block to ascend. Developing is using it to ascend platforms that are out of sight. Twist is using the propeller to descend slowly, and the conclusion is a floaty descent to the end of the stage is the action tapering off. That's pretty much what I figured. The conclusion is kind of integrated directly into the twist, but being able to float directly to the flagpole, which is something you've almost never been able to do on any other level, really accentuates the concepts of that level, which is extreme verticality, right? So that's a good way to interpret that conclusion. Key, land clouds going up, developing by adding bouncing mushrooms to the mix, still going upwards. Twist, small horizontal portion, conclusion descending. Yeah, so all Paper Spock has to do to keep in mind is that the conclusion should always be simple, and the twist should always be substantial. About as substantial, but wrapping things up as the most complex part of the development. Really feels like the descending vertical portion should be the twist. It's very different from what came before, but there's nothing after it. So to make things fit the formula, it feels like it has to be made into the conclusion. Not sure how well this really fits. Yeah, he knows. Not everything is going to be so cut and dry. Probably. I mean, that's just how it is. Flip panels, multiple flip panels simultaneously to form larger obstructions. Obstructions is the twist. And Ketsu wall jumping off the flip panel into... So yeah, he didn't really consider that the flip panels being multiple and ordered and non-linear, whatever, as a twist, but certainly this is part of what is a more complex part of either the show or the 10. Propeller blocks, large gaps, jumps to get larger and more horizontal. Now the player must descend. Twist, descending, yes. And the Ketsu, no platform at the end, only enemies to bounce off of, pretty much. Just pretty much getting the flag easily with enemies that pretty much can't hurt you. Round 3. Is this... Okay, yeah, round 3. This has to be the introduction.
Jeeps on a bridge.
Enemies are now jumping at you in an arc. No safe spots because enemies are walking at you, flying over the platform, or doing something else nefarious. Introduction of a new element. Element slows you down, new enemies being incorporated more organically, but you're always looking out for water now. He spies his toad, takes too long. Goes in the pipe. Skips part of the level by being in this pipe. Let's just go blah, blah, goes in the pipe. Blah. That waterfall didn't have an enemy, and now we have this section. Cool. Round 3, crossing the bridge while dodging Cheep Cheep is the introduction. Developed by enemies added to the bridge to complicate things. Now there's a rope. Twist, puffers now destroy bridges. Conclusion on the final portion, trip to the flagpole. Puffers jump over what is now, again, solid ground, though still sort of a bridge, narrow strip of land. Key, Cheep Cheeps introduced. More complex formations, pits, other enemies. Cheep Cheeps are encouraged again on a tightrope. Porcupuffer destroys the entire last bridge. This is how I would describe it. So if you're a player that doesn't run and isn't super confident, you'd probably like take those sections on the bridge one by one. So the twist is definitely like they destroy the entire bridge. And if you weren't quite aware that they destroy things with cracks by now, then you dead. A porcupuffer flies over the final staircase. Yeah, pretty much. Key, Cheep Cheep, Big Fish, Goomba, beetles patrolling. This is a nice twist, identifying that they patrol the bridge instead of jumping over it. Bridge is made out of bungee cord, Ketsu, an army of big fish jump in unison. Again, just recognizing the conclusion is probably going to be something really soft and simple, and in this case, probably right near the flagpole. But all good. And our final example. Any questions, comments, guys?
No, not yet. Oh, Jeff's gone.
Okay. Wait, this is not the right link. Oh no. This is not the right link. It should be 9:21 or whatever. Try it again. Here we go. Final example. Copy current time. This. Edit. Hey, it should have worked. Trash. Anyway. This is the hard version of the same game where every level gets a remix. And now you should be able to identify the Kisho Kintetsu. Starts off a little bit more complicated than the last one. Puts you directly in the path of an enemy. The things are starting off harder. 3D structures, bigger jumps, double things folding out of the same one. I don't think they did that before. More space in between the non-linear sort of exploration, making more complex formations that require more 3D. Definitely developing there. More enemies. Halfway point. 2 switches. A secret vertically. Hinted by the shadow. Multiple choices on where to go, layered vertically and horizontally. Pick the right one, can see different goodies in the sky, return, and try again. Memorizing layouts, the order in which platforms are available and not available, just depending on your timing. 2 ways to get to the end, how clever. If you're not fast enough in this one, you get trapped inside the box, which is hilarious. The box is bigger than ever, and now there's an enemy at the top just like at the beginning. Leads to more green panels instead of solid ground. Hidden item off screen. Clever. Does it again. This time escapes out the right side. That is so cool. And jumping to a green panel. Very simple right there. And now for our conclusion. That thing would trap you in a box if you're not fast. How hilarious. So definitely in contrast to the first level that we analyzed, that level is unique. Simple green flipping paths and mostly linear paths, developed by complex paths leading to a variety of warps sending the player in different places. Green flipping panels attempt to surround and engage the player. Green flipping platform at the flagpole acts a bit normally, but then rearranged to present a wall jump challenge. Flip panels reintroduced. The next people should notice that the way it was introduced this time is much more complex than before. But yeah, flip panels introduced. The next panel leaves a large jump. The next few create complex paths. Panels make a large pyramid. If you don't move fast enough, they block you in. To reach the goal, you must jump to land on the panels as they form. Yeah, this one's like a really interesting timing challenge. And that's about everything. So, good job, everybody. I'm going to wrap this stream up. So that's it for week 20 of the Mario Maker Workshop. We go over concepts, we test them, we talk about them, we have quizzes. It's all Mario based. It's all fun. And just stretching our abilities, learning new things. It's one thing to watch a video or read about Kisho Tenketsu. It's a whole nother thing to identify the parts and have to articulate in your own words and go from there. So we've had fun. Next week will be our final stream for the Mario Maker Workshop. More people will be joining us. We'll reflect on old levels, play some on stream, and give our final words and hopes and encouragement to both ourselves and anyone else who's interested in really understanding Mario's design and level design. So until next week, guys, see ya.
Later.